Okay, welcome to the channel. I swear we've been trying to make this video for 2 weeks now, but
better late than never.
Things have been a little bit crazy since we got back from Chamonix.
Yeah.
So we will be talking about OCC today. You want to tell them why we've been struggling for this?
Oh my gosh. So OCC took a few days in Chamonix afterwards. We had a bunch of cool team stuff to celebrate. And then we flew home. And we got home and I became incredibly sick. I think it was just...
Bedridden for days.
Yeah, and I don't get sick. And I know people say that, but like honestly, I don't get sick. And this was like the flu from hell. I just had every symptom. I was just going down the list. Like, you know how most of the time you have like, oh, you have congestion and a cough, or you have fever and body aches. No, I just had it all. I had the fever, the body aches, the congestion, the cough, the sore throat. Like it just kept going. So we had that.
Yeah, we decided we'd wait until she could actually talk again.
Yep. And then I gave it to Eli.
Yep.
And then he had trouble talking.
And we decided it would be better not to sound like this.
And be coughing and hacking. And then the cherry on top of it all is our dog Muffins. He was working cows with my dad, and a neighbor cow just is not like as easygoing as our cows happened to run over him. She was protecting her calf like it was normal. It happens all the time. Just like maybe not the dog getting run over happens all the time, but just that inherent wanting to be protective. And he got in the way, and so that was the whole ordeal with going to the emergency vet. Our emergency vet couldn't do anything for him, so then we had to take him down to Boulder to emergency vet and an orthopedic surgeon down there. And yeah, he ended up having a lot of issues and is now bedridden for 6 weeks with a lot of sedation and a lot of pain pills on board. So now that all that, we're done with that.
Yeah, dog is sedated. He's there. He's
we're
not
healthy.
moving. Back to the story. Let's talk about OCC.
We got in about a week and a half before the race just to kind of acclimatize, adjust. We were lucky enough to be able to then also go recce some of the course.
Yes, we got there in enough time that we could go see La Fougère and the Col de Baume, kind of places that we thought were going to be pretty important.
What are we doing?
We're gonna do our first real run in Chamonix. Yesterday was not a run, it was a jog. So today we're gonna go from where we're staying. We're gonna run, I guess is it down the valley?
No, it's up.
It's slightly up the valley to Argentière. And we're gonna turn and do the La Fougère climb and down the finishing descent. So we see some of the course. Come along with us.
Such an influencer. All right, we found it. La Fougère. Still steep.
Don't want. But it's not 13,000 feet like Peak 10 is.
That's nice.
Welcome to the Hemmings vlog of UTMB week. OCC, the champions arrived. Watch their stuff, it's the most hype stuff coming to the channel.
The vibe is rocking right now.
It's electric!
It's electric. How would you describe this mood right now?
Oh dude, it's insane. How many people are here? It's just crazy.
There's a lot of orange.
Okay. Come on.
You want to show the people the route?
Oh yeah. Look at this. It's a cool map.
Got a map.
Okay, so we start in Osier, go to Champ Lac, then we climb over to, wait, where am I? Hold on, Louvain, right here, then over to Col de Classe, down to Triant, then up and over Col de Baume, boop, that's gonna be a bitch, down to the Tour, down to Argentière, then up all the way to Maubeuge. That makes it look flat, but it's very hilly. And then we're gonna plummet all the way back to somewhere right there. It's gonna be a great time. I don't have to do the whole thing like this. I don't know what that sound was. Let's start with you, because that was pretty cool.
Okay.
Not pretty cool. That was really cool.
So,
Yeah. We'll start on a high note.
starting a high note. I mean, we can start at the very end. I won. And
Surprise, surprise.
super awesome. Like, that was the whole year's goal, and I was so excited. It kind of really played out really well. The race started out kind of how we expected it, just kind of pretty hot. I found the guys I wanted to run with, which was like Francesco Pupi, Remy Bonnet. I knew those guys would be kind of at the front end, at the pointy end, when the going got tough and when they needed to be there. So we had guys like Christian Allen kind of off the front, and I was like, well, I kind of want to go with him, but I know these guys are going to get to where they need to be when they need to be there.
And they're not to say that Christian isn't smart, but the racers that you positioned yourself with, they are very seasoned.
Yes.
They are very experienced and good racers.
Yes, and since it was my first time in OCC, I knew that I'd kind of have to rely on the knowledge of others on how hard we can be running certain sections. So I kind of ran with a pack for the first couple hours. I was kind of pushing the climbs a little bit to see how people were doing, making sure the pace was never slow enough that I was like, kind of felt like I was jogging. And by the time that we got to Triant, which is like a 2-hour mark.
It's like the halfway point.
Like the halfway
Roughly.
point. Yeah. That's kind of where we decided the crux of this course is going to be the climb from Triant up to Col de Baume. And we said, okay, this is where everyone's going to try to make their moves. If you get up to Col de Baume with a gap, as long as you're moving, you can make it to the finish line.
Historically, that's what has occurred. So that's what
Yes.
we were banking on.
And I really put that one to the test. So I felt really good. We started catching Christian right as we got into the steep section of that climb. And right as we were about to catch Christian, I kind of glanced back and I saw that I had Remy Bonnet on the rivets a little bit. And now I've never had Remy Bonnet on the rivets. Not once.
It's usually been the other way around.
No, it's usually been him running like 4 minutes in front of me. And so like I like kind of got a little bit excited. I'm like, I feel actually really good right now. I'm gonna push and see if I can get away from him. I don't want to be doing the last climb with him because again, every other time I've done a climb with him, he's been about 4 minutes in front of me. So I was like, okay, I think my time is to go right now. And I pushed the whole way up the climb. I made a lot bigger gap than I thought.
Yeah.
Highlight of the day is right when I got to the top. We'll go back to it, but Debo was up at the top and he's like, Tabor's winning too. And so I was on a super high note. I dropped down the backside, and then I had one more final climb. And as I was going down from Col de Baume into Latour, into Argentière, the heat just started rising and rising.
And it was hot
rising.
because like in my parents' rental car, it had said 31 Celsius, which for Fahrenheit is about 90. And
it was humid.
Oh,
and that for Colorado people, we are not used to that.
Not to make it an excuse, but leading into this race, we had like meticulously checked all the boxes, like the lawn training runs, the running with the pack, the fueling, like just all the things that we thought would matter when we got to Chamonix. And the heat was just not a box that we had checked. Like, we like to sauna for enjoyment, but definitely not as like a training aspect. So moving forward, I think anytime that we show up in Chamonix now, we're gonna make sure.
It was an oversight on our part.
Yeah, so-
Because I got to the final climb up to La Fougère, and I almost didn't make it to the top of the climb. I started climbing and I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be pretty slow. I knew I had a little bit of a gap going up a little ways, probably 10 minutes in the climb. Somebody's like, you have 10 minutes on the next guy. I'm like, okay, sweet. I can take a little bit of time to the top of this hill. I ended up walking and even stopping a couple times because I was so overheated. I think I pushed just a little bit too hard on that Col de Balme climb, trying to make that gap.
And that last climb is exposed.
The last climb is just so hot, and so I did make it to the top.
You stayed tough.
I made it to the top, and then luckily, once you get to the top of that climb, it is all downhill, just straight into town. And then once you get into town, it is flat, but there's so many people cheering, it's hard not to end up actually running pretty quick. So I saved it by my 10-minute gap that I started with from Argentière, brought down to a under 3-minute gap by the time I finished. So
a win is a win.
Almost messed it up real bad.
A win is a win.
I almost messed it up.
Well, I messed it up for us, so it's okay.
No, you didn't. Your back did.
Well, in a fairy tale ending, we both would have crossed OCC first.
Okay.
That was the fairy tale.
We were on track.
We were on track.
It can happen. I think we can do it. Okay.
It would have been
Go
nice.
yours.
But yeah, so my race was going really well. I led pretty much all of the first half to Triant. There were little, obviously, passes and going back and forth, but for a majority of it, I led, and I was feeling really good on the day. The fueling was coming really naturally. My legs felt good. I felt like I was climbing like the best that I've ever climbed. I was pretty much having like a career-defining day. And then we got on to Col de Balme, and we had actually recce'd that earlier, like the week that we got into Chamonix.
Yep.
And there was going to be this technical section at the top. And we had run it, and I remember Eli saying, on this point, move smooth and controlled. And so, you know, I'm thinking that while we are wrecking the course. But there was a point on Col de Balme where I was also feeling very warm, and I ran out of water, and so I was with Mao Yao, Judith, Sarah Alonso. We were all kind of within sight of each other, and Sarah Alonso and I both went over to get water. She departed, and I was trying to get going. And so instead of taking my time, thinking about that smooth and controlled, I was like, I can't miss a move, because we had talked about the crux of the course being on Col de Balme, and if someone has that lead at the top, that could be the defining moment of the race. So I didn't want to leave it up to chance. So I made a push to go reattach myself to the group, feeling good. And if you've been watching the YouTube channel, which we got 1,000 subscribers.
Yes. Pause.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for, we really talked up like the start of building this YouTube channel. We're like, we're probably gonna have like a couple hundred subscribers for first like couple years. Yeah, and like this is really just more of like us reaching out and us trying to create a community. And all of a sudden it's like, it really blew up.
Yeah,
way
it's
faster
all,
than
and
I
it's all
expected.
thanks to you guys.
Yeah,
So
thank
thanks for watching our life and being a part of it. So yeah, if you've been on here, you've known that I've been dealing with some back issues all summer, and I thought I'd done a pretty good job with like keeping it under control. And I just was going down the technical section, and I put my foot down, and I just kind of slipped. And you know, when you go back like this, and I tried to catch myself, and what caught me was my back. And all of a sudden it just spasmed up, and I was like, okay. So I took a sec, and then I just could not get it to relax. And I just kept thinking, oh, it's like if I keep running, it'll loosen up, and I was really hoping And by the time I got to Argentier, I really knew that.
You were like cobras in the parking lot, weren't you?
Yeah, I stopped at the aid station. Everyone's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I tried to do some cobras to like loosen it, but had to be really honest with myself. And I'm like, "Yeah, I might be able to make it to the top of the La Vigiere climb, but running downhill, I'm going to be walking." And so it was a really hard pill to swallow to make my finish line at Argentier after having a really good first half. But that happens in trail running. That's kind of like shit occurs. And it's sad, but I'm sad, but I'm very happy for Eli, and there's another year to do it and learning from mistakes.
Yeah, and you know, I can't express this enough. Like, I am sad for Tabor's DNF, but at the same time, I'm so happy with where she's come from and where she got to. And like, I think she really put the world on notice. I think all those girls are like, oh, Tabor's here to freaking play. And like, she really leveled up this year, and I think that really showed. And I think healthy back, and you are going to be taking over the world.
Yeah, so that's the goal
Yeah.
from here on out, is getting a completely healthy back and not just, you know, pushing through training and hoping that, you know, looking the other way a little at the issue.
Yeah, and we've talked, I think this sickness that she had was actually forced recovery, because Tabor is one of the world's worst at recovering. So she had to lay in bed for a few days, and it kind of seems like that's been helping.
Plus
she will be racing.
Plus all the medicine that I had on board.
Yeah, she had quite a
Really
bit
helped
of
the
NSAIDs.
inflammation.
Yeah, but she'll be racing Mammoth Trail Fest. We know she can handle a 2-hour race, and
Just kind of have to finish with a better taste in my mouth for the season than
absolutely.
OCC. And so if you're out at Mammoth, come say hi. I would love to. Eli's gonna stay home,
I gotta
so
stay
please
with
come say hi.
Yeah, I gotta stay with the dog, make sure he does not hurt his hip again, make sure that he is properly sedated, because he has to lay still for a long time.
Eli's taking one for the team by staying home, but also, you know, you're tired and ready for a little break,
Yes.
which is well deserved, and I will also take a little break. But yeah, that's kind of the recap of OCC, and
Thank you for watching. Really appreciate everything.
keep tuning in, and thanks for all your support through it all.